And welcome to the next edition of the Assembly 2023 Compo Studios. This one covering the 1K and the 4K combos. I was at the big screen, and I was very happy to see that there were just loads of people in front watching. Basically standing room only. So, warning, if you were planning on coming late to the demo compo, you might want to go get a seat now. What was it like over here, Frankie?
We had room left here.
Okay.
So this is a good overflow zone. So if you have no room for the demo compo, come to the scene lounge. There were seats open left and right. So yeah.
Cool. With us are Frequent and Raccoon Violet. What were your overall impressions of the 1K compo?
My impression is that it just went in a one fast flow. I've never seen a so effective comp organizing for those two intro compos. So that was a plus. And very big difference between the entries, both in the 1K and the 4K. But I think it was a good idea by the organizers to take it in a flow, because everybody who shows up for the 4K would like to see the 1K as well, in my impression. So overall, in a positive experience.
Yeah, it did flow very well. Yeah. What did you think, Violet?
Yeah, I also very much agree with the flow. It's very good all the way through, and I just really impressed by the end of it as well. So, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I've said this before, but there really is an art to organizing the order of things. Even though, I mean, let's see here, there were eight 1K entries, and yeah, it did flow well. It wasn't necessarily everything big and exciting at the end. There was some stuff thrown in toward the beginning that was also quite good. We have a total of 30 minutes to speak of all these things together, so we have plenty of time to cover things. Is there anything in particular from the 1K that anybody thinks we should perhaps talk about that was maybe a little unusual before we get to the finals, the ones that were toward the end, which we might remember more? Is there anything from the early parts that stood out, is my question.
I have to say the first one.
Yes?
But we had some late audio here, so I initially thought it was without audio, and then it came in.
Aha.
Yeah,
we had audio all the way through.
Yes, indeed.
Stage.
It was there's a separate mixer in the back there that needs to be unmuted.
Okay.
So it was a technical thing here, and it was. I don't know if I like it better without music or with music. It was weird. It's like, okay, this is a silent one, but it's good. It is a bit of a different concept, because you will see in the other entries you will have some fractal zooming left and right, up and down, and
Yep.
This wasn't. We're like, hey, this is kind of fresh. And then the music came in for me, and I was like, oh no. But again, personal taste here, and that didn't do it for me.
So you didn't notice the voice that was in it?
I did not.
Okay, I thought that was impressive. The impressive thing is that how he mixed the voice in there, and it wasn't overpowering, but it was definitely there. And it took, at first I could not tell what it was saying, but then toward the end it was like, oh yes, the words on the screen, or what it's saying. So yeah, I did like that. I also noticed that he had two entries in this competition. At least I think he did, unless that was a 4K. I'm going to have to triple check that before I...
Yes, there were two.
Yeah. Yes, the second one was Akala, or Sika. And
then second one is Fish, but we'll get to that.
yes.
The second one was the one that's a zoomer, wasn't it, in the 1K? No?
Well, the second entry, yes,
Yeah.
was the
Yes,
fractal
yeah,
zoomer.
indeed.
Yes.
That was the green zoomer fractal.
Exactly.
Yes,
One
indeed.
humming sound on a zoomer. That's simple
Yes.
but effective.
Yeah, and it was called Infinite Loop.
Yeah.
So perfectly covering the
It did
the
what it said
payload,
on
the
the
message,
tin.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the second that we were talking about a second ago was the second entry from Mielikki, which again was the fish, and I suppose actually we could jump just straight to that because we're already talking about the entries by one person. So I thought that the fact that both had voice in them was, I think, perhaps. The first one was an experiment, and then the second one was, okay, now we've got a concept that I can actually put the voice in there and then move from there. I could have it backwards. I don't know which one that was first.
A bit more work, perhaps, and it's a size limit, so you
Yeah.
just have to do what you can fetch, pretty much.
And let's face it, the first one was more random and sporadic, and the second one was very much a designed fish. So different in its execution of what it was pulling off. Maybe the underlying code was similar. Not sure. Violet, anything you want to mention about the early portions?
Yeah, I was very interested in the infinite loop one. Is that the one that
Second one, yes.
It sounded like it had like some kind of shepherd tone or something like that going on as well, and that was. I very much like shepherd tones. They're weird in a way that's like very confusing, but also.
Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
good point. Not sure that we've seen that many shepherd tones before. Frequent, you would recall this better than I would if we've had frequent tones before in other compos.
I don't hear it, it's too much noise.
The shepherd tones. Have we had shepherd tones in other years?
I don't recall, to be honest.
Yeah,
No,
I
no.
don't think we have, which is interesting because you'd think that was something that we would have seen experimented with.
I would have remembered it, so...
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good call on that one. All right, let's see here. Oh yeah, the third one I have down here that was the first one that was using shaders as the audio, which was by
that one.
McBurrowbit. I do not remember. Well, shaders as audio was a thing, and the audio was pretty good, I felt.
Yeah, it was a step up compared to the previous one regarding the audio, and more things were happening, so it's a more advanced effect.
I think the audio in the 1Ks has again taken a step up this year. Of course, we all remember, well, I'm going to say we all remember, but I remember when just having audio in a 1K was something. And well, we had audio in all of them. Well,
Yep.
okay, with the exception of the first one for the first half here at the second stage. But yeah,
And I've been around so long, so I remember back in the days when no 4K intros had audio at all, back
Yes.
in the 90s. So it's a huge evolution on the audio side, only in 1K.
yeah,
That's big.
that's just ridiculous that you can actually pull that off and make it sound good. That is an accomplishment, and all of them really sounded good. Some of them were a step up from others, but all of them sounded great, really.
And we are lucky to have a very good PA system in the hall, so it sounds good even on big speakers, which also could be a problem. But here it's fine, and I hope it was also fine on the stream.
So, that is something that we won't find out until we're home, but well, we will find out because we'll be watching that again. So yes, I know entry number 4, Kilo Ntortu.
That one.
I recognized the tune, but I can't tell you what it was. And did anybody else remember that tune? Okay,
Sorry.
it was just me then. It was recognizable for me. I just don't remember what the heck it was. And then again, number 5 was Pasieka.
Yeah,
the
that
fish.
one.
Yeah.
At a short moment, I was thinking, did they pre-calc it? And then I remembered, yeah, they used a translator inside the OS. So simple solution, but it worked, and everybody applauded. So it was a positive thing.
Yeah. If we sound a little like we can't hear each other, it's because the folks on the next stage are getting really loud, and it's getting difficult to even hear ourselves. So bear with us. We'll adjust. So yes, then came Memories from Postula Woods.
I really enjoyed that
Yeah,
one.
this one really stood out in
Yes.
the compo. Yeah.
One of my favorites, easily.
Yeah.
Very well done to the guy who did it, whoever you are.
I can't add anything more to that. It's an exceptional 1K. It has mood. It does evoke the Postula Woods, of course, in winter or Marasku, but still, it's a good, solid 1K that's a little different. Just the outlines of the trees, but the trees weren't the same. I mean, an exceptional 1K, I feel. Yeah. Next, we had something a little different from 7.
Yes. Yes.
He was experimenting more again with the music, and he mentioned that he'd gotten some clues from Pestis. Pestis has done a kind of a tutorial or a series on making music for size-coded things, which you can find on the internets. And this is how 7 worked with that. I thought it was a little detuned, but still, it was significantly different from the audio in his earlier things.
Yeah, in my opinion, he used a much more, what should I say, anti-aliased sounds. It sounded much more softer, and it didn't have this abrupt cut-off instruments used before. So he has probably improved his synthesizer a lot. And together with the nice visuals, I think it was a mellow and fine balanced intro. So it's one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I'm a large 7 fanboy, as
Yeah.
everybody knows. And this is knowing 7 a bit personally. Hey, dude, how you doing, by the way?
Yeah, miss you.
Yes. This is him stepping out of his comfort zone to me. It is. There's always the perfectionism, the infinite fine tuning, and then here where the music is a tad off and is a bit off key. That's different coming from a Fulcrum 1K usually. Also, the visuals. The neon lines in the beginning. It's just a few, and it keeps on going, and in the end I was just comparing it with a multicolor spaghetti, but it's glowing. And actually the screenshot that is here, I'm very likely going to put that as a background somewhere, if I can get this in a full resolution, because it is pretty fascinating to look at and trying to follow the neon strings for me.
Yeah, it's 7 normally does a lot of fractal stuff. This is not a fractal, but yeah, it is different, and I agree. It's sort of outside of the traditional 7 things, and it's good to see him step out of that.
There we go. Yeah.
Finally, then aforementioned the Pestis, working with Boy. And this had something that I think none of the others did, and that was this had an end, which may not seem like a big thing to folks, but that actually means that they couldn't just loop it infinitely. They actually had to program an end portion to it, which is a reduction in the amount of stuff that you can put into the 1K. By putting an end in there, you've made it more difficult to get all that content in. I thought this was also very good, but anyone else with thoughts?
I'll just jump in that it not did have an end, it had a story.
Yes, it did.
It had you begin with just the yellow blob in the middle, and that evolves and that syncs up with the music, and then you have the concentric lines coming out. Didn't see the dots on this screen all that perfectly, but I can see them on the screenshot, so they sure was there. It just, yeah, beginning, middle, end. It was there in a 1K. Of course, the story is what you interpret, but a good amount of work was put into that, into making that happen.
Yeah. It had progression, and that isn't always there in the one case, which we can see with some of the other ones. Well, if no one has anything else to say, and I'm just throwing it out there.
I just thought it was a very beautiful production from start to finish, and I really loved what looked like the deliberate compression artifacts on the demo as well, because I just love it when people deliberately do those kind of effects that are supposed to be accidental in the first place, but they're deliberate in this case. So.
Fred of Caladox once said to me, "Yeah, that some of the best effects are actually mistakes."
Yeah.
So it could be that it was planned, and it could be that it's just a happy coincidence. It looked very good.
It's I'm gonna say I'm really happy that this competition was a good mix. You had your fractal zoomers, you had you've had the funny ones with the fish. That was just like, oh yeah, so that is how you mathematically design a fish in a few shapes. So I was actually looking at the different shapes. Was the lovely woods,
Yep.
which I agreed. That was you look for. Oh, they just took three fractal and they rotated it. No, they didn't.
Right.
So there was tons of work in that one. Stefan, I fanboyed enough, and then boy and Pestis. Yeah, what I said. So it was a really good compo, really good mix of all types of intros that you have. Really, really nice.
I may have let time get away from us because we had 30 minutes, and I think we've used almost 25.
No, you have to look over there. Oh yeah, we
There
have.
is still 4K.
Yes, and we still have to talk about the 4K. So
Okay, it
let's
was
move
awesome.
on. So the 4Ks. We first we had art gallery, which maybe a bit of chaos in that one, but I thought the music in that one was quite good. Anybody with any comments?
I liked it, but there was something strange going on during the presentation there. I noticed some glitches, and it folded black and came back again. So I was thinking, is the recording failed, or was there something wrong with the intro? I don't know. I don't know what you think.
I would imagine that there wasn't anything wrong with the recording because they would have checked. And I think it's just the calculations worked like that. As I said, it looked like toward the end it was getting a little chaotic. So I think perhaps the algorithm that they use just when you reach higher numbers just generated more chaos.
Yeah.
Next up would have been, let's see. Oh yes, the firstie. First of all, it said be kind, but and I know some people will say, "Ultruck, you always love everything," but I just really think this is an excellent first production. The music on it is really good. It's a good effect. He got words in there that I just liked it. I really did. I think it's an excellent first production.
If you wouldn't have told me that was a first production, I would not have known that was a first production as well.
Yeah.
That was
Same.
It's really stunning.
Same. Cannot wait to see what you do next. That's a really great first production. Then we had Magnetism Tietokonekerho with their logo, which is an interesting concept. I'm not sure if perhaps this was the entire 4K and maybe just slightly over 1K and then they couldn't get it in, so they put it in the 4K, which can happen. Don't know. Anyone with any comments on that one? I realize I'm rushing, but we are limited on time.
No.
Okay. And then next up was Koma.
I loved it. My favorite, no doubt. Totally different from all the other entries. Original. It was silent in the start, and I think that was a good idea because it built up an attention. Because most of the effects came very early, but he delayed the tune so that will approach later, and then you get different experience. So, well done, well done.
I wrote down it was Coma doing Coma things, but it's good to see Coma doing Coma things again.
Yes,
It's
always.
that's a fantastic thing, and I agree with you on the progression of it. It just really well done. Next, we had V with Velocity. It started out with what I just basically wrote down. Okay, good white fractals, and then it stopped being white fractals, and I liked that. I liked that progression as well. Anyone else? Okay. Yo. All right. So the next we had the Wama intro.
Interesting tune.
Yeah.
It was synthwave-ish, a bit retro, and I liked it.
Yeah, I surprisingly liked it. It was like, okay, this is something falling down bubbles, but okay, no, wait, hang on, there's a thing there.
I wrote down that the sound got good because
Yeah.
at the beginning it was, but as it got further, it was like, no, this is getting good. This is quite, and that one for me, the sound makes it. The rest of it, it's all right, but the sound really makes that one for me.
It was that kind of sound you can have in your car when you're driving, and I was experiencing that those objects was hovering over the water was on their tour. So it's like, well done. I really like the concept.
I think it was well executed as well. Yes, it just really good. Next up was Sylvia, and unfortunately, what I've written down is very interesting, which is not the best note. I will try to not to do that again. Does anyone else have anything good to say about this other than very interesting? Good job, Truck.
Was that the first one by the person?
Yeah, so it's Love Among the Stars also a firstie.
Okay, I did not catch that it was a first.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I noticed that they said that it was their first. They finally got a 4K up there.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mad props for getting that out there. I did not realize it was a firstie.
Yeah. Yeah. Classic design for 4K, but that does not make it bad.
No, not at all.
So it's like, welcome to the club. Please stay.
Yeah, I really want to see what you do with the next one.
And it had an end, didn't it? It had a start and an end in the
I think
story.
that one did have an end.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
also.
yeah,
yes.
it is.
Less common in 4Ks as well to have a proper end, so
Yeah.
very well.
Next was Ihan Perus, which I spent time making sure that my translation was correct. And I think it's something along the lines of a pretty foundation or a good start. But someone will now correct me on my thinking on that. Comments on that one, because I did see it and I did like it, but my comments are once again crap.
I like the soundtrack, I like the colors, I like the effects. One of the better ones, in my opinion.
Yeah,
To sum it up fast.
it is one of the highlights. Well, for me, it got visually a bit too messy in the end. Like a bit too much of left and right. I like the beginning when less was more. That's a personal preference. But you want my comment, and this is it.
Next, we had Chaos in Harmony by Kadiak. I'll just throw this out there. Does anybody have any comments on that one? I did make good notes on this one.
Very different, and it stood out. Maybe a bit demanding in the way it presented itself. So I'm not really sure how it's going to do. It's technically good, but it's very experimental from my point of view.
This is my favorite. I loved what they did. The way that they used the sound to emphasize that it was swinging among the objects, and just simple objects up there. It's very well it's a good idea. It's not a common idea, but it's very, very well presented. And yeah, I really, really liked it. Next up was Theema with a Linux 4K. I had seen this before. I think it's a very, very good production.
I never gonna forgive myself saying this, but this is the first time that I find a Linux entry best in compo for myself.
They said to me that it wasn't a compo winner. I said, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, this has a good chance.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's just it's maybe the last 10 seconds a bit of a rehash, so it would have maybe cut it off. But again, that's me and my vision. But extremely well put together with the objects and the room and the lights and the mood it created. I'm very in favor of this.
Yeah. Last we had Monoscan by Mick Burrowbit, which was a lot of fractals. The one thing I'm confused about there is that Accession got greeted as kind of I'm afraid of the violence. I don't know why I would be considered to be being violent about something, but any other folks with comments on that?
I'll give you 5 seconds because
Yeah, we're supposed to wrap this up, but it's okay.
I thought that one
say
was
what
very
you wanted to.
stunning, and I also stopped to get my phone out to record
okay,
that one.
I heard stunning, frequent, one word.
No.
Yes.
Say whatever you want to say.
I just remember uns.
Yes.
Yes, uns. So
Yeah.
stunning and uns. There we go.
Yeah. An excellent fractals.
Finally, comments from everyone on those two compos? Anything you want to wrap up before?
Only
sauce.
one entry with donuts, the last one.
Yes.
That's a long time ago. Again, 90s, everybody had donuts.
Yo.
One had it.
Okay, I go with awesome sauce.
All right.
Solid, yeah.
And that will wrap up our compo block for the 1K and the 4Ks. An excellent year. Please go vote. Again, that is at scene.assembly.org. And we have coming up the demo compo. I suggest getting a seat now.
In about 21:30.
In about, 21:30. But seriously,
Get a seat.
Get a seat. You're going to need it. This is going to be good. From what I've heard, this is going to be good.
Yes. See you then.
See you asked? Oh.
See you then.